It's currently June, or rainbow season as I decided to call it a few years ago, albeit this year everybody says things are a little less rainbowy than we're used to. Fortunately, there are still some parts of my city that reliably keep the gay fires burning. Last month we celebrated Victoria Day, which is our second last Monday in May commemoration of the great Queen Victoria. And when rainbow season is over in July, we'll be observing Canada Day on July 1st, shortly after which the Americans will be performing their Day of Independence, and across these 3 days there is a tradition of launching a bunch of fireworks into the air. A tradition that I personally hate and which I encourage you to stop doing. Have you heard of illumination festivals? It's still a thing in some English towns. Back when light bulbs were a hot new invention, they would organize these events where everybody came to a certain part of town and they would power up like a bajillion light bulbs all at once, and people were dazzled by the incredible technology that was the light bulb. They'd be like, holy shit, oh, the night used to be dark, but then, whoa, we invented light bulbs. How did we put light inside these little glass balls? I can understand a light bulb being amazing and magical if you're like a medieval peasant who's never seen a light bulb before, but today who cares? There's light bulbs all over the place, every night, in everyone's house. The fact that we can light the dark is no longer crazy. I assume the only reason a few places still do this is because they're where these festivals were first happening, and, now it's like a quaint local tradition. They make floats and stuff, and they turn it into a whole thing, and they reminisce about the olden days. But there is no lingering perspective like that about fireworks. Fireworks feel to me like the kind of thing that was probably amazing when they were new. Oh my god, Sharon, look, there's lights in the sky. How did we do that? What the fuck? What is this, the Aurora Borealis? At this time of year, in this part of the country, localized entirely at this park by the lake or whatever? It's like we made our own northern lights. You can buy it in a big can at your local General. And I understand a certain argument or perspective that sometimes a thing we grow used to is actually kind of amazing if you stop and think about it. The mundane sometimes conceals wonder. Think about this the next time you go to a grocery store. You're looking at thousands of products made from stuff all over the world, and there's a huge supply line of God knows how many people mining this metal, cutting down those trees, farming this wheat and sugar and, whatever, packing it all, shipping it all over the world. You have these truck drivers, people working in ports, people working in warehouses, all to move this thing from very far away onto a shelf at your local store for you to buy, just sitting there waiting for you. In a way, it's really fucking amazing, and you probably don't think about it much because it's just a grocery store. It's the kind of thing that just comes to exist in the background of our lives. I think about some modern technology like this, I was going to say Google Maps, but hey, I'm on YouTube. Look, think about YouTube. YouTube is a global video library that any random person in the world can record a video and then upload onto this website, and then anyone else in the world can instantly watch it. And it has a bajillion hours of diverse content from everywhere. It's a huge archive by this point of creativity and news and just dialogue. I mean, if you could go back in time before the internet and try to explain YouTube to somebody, it would sound insane. It would sound like this incredibly ambitious project, but somehow we brought it to life. We turned the fantasy real, and now it just feels normal to us. It's just YouTube. I think Google Maps is also like this. The amount of work that used to go into making maps was extraordinary. Not only because you had to actually figure out where stuff was in order to put it on your map. We didn't used to have satellites. Imagine somebody back then thinking that someday every random person in society would have free access to a fully scaled map of the entire world with every street labeled, every address, every business, from a full globe view in space all the way down to zooming into street level to where you can see a dog lying on a yard. This is a mind-blowing utility that was created and maintained through the efforts of, teams of people all over the world. But it's something that you just take for granted because it's just a normal thing in the background, whatever, it's just Google Maps. Don't freak out, man, it's just Google Maps. What was I talking about again? We don't have holiday festival things where people open Google Maps or go to a local grocery store and take time to admire the oft overlooked complexities and marvels of modern life. That's a steel man I could put together, but it's not the reality. It's not really what's happening. There's not even really an attachment to some quaint local community tradition. Fireworks are just bullshit you buy because they're loud and flashy and colorful. It's brain stimulation junk food. It's a Michael Bay movie in a can. It gets the medieval peasant caveman still scared of fire ass part of your brain excited for a minute because the big thing went boom and there were colors and it's just fucking dumb. And who's even really impressed anymore compared with all the other things in our lives now? The ability to make a big explodey light should have stopped being amazing sometime after society developed the fucking motion picture machine. Everybody shows up because they're supposed to, because it's the normal thing that you do, and you don't want to be lame and stay home. And it's like, oh no, we have to do the fireworks thing, and everyone records it on their stupid phones, and social media gets flooded with everybody's recording of the same thing that nobody else wants to watch. Oh, I took a recording, so I guess I'm gonna put it on the internet because that's what one does with recordings. And at this point, I just feel like a big buzzkill loser, because who even cares? They're not bothering anybody, right? I mean, they're just looking at lights. But it's actually more than just that fireworks are something I don't appreciate. They're actually quite bothersome and harmful. First of all, there is an environmental cost. I mean, we're exploding a bunch of chemicals and shit into the air, so of course there is. It negatively impacts air quality, and it pollutes the nearby ecosystems with a bunch of metallic compounds or whatever. All the nearby, like, forests or water features. We're just raining a bunch of bullshit onto everything. But I think even more persuasive and concerning is the noise pollution. Fireworks are really fucking loud, and they're not supposed to be set off near residential areas for this reason, but people often just do it anyway. I've lived in so many places where people just don't care. I mean, if you live anywhere near, like, a field, people will just show up to that field on holidays and be like, oh, this is an open field, so I can put fireworks here. I'm so proud to have been the trend-setting Karen who would actually go out and bitch at them about it. But it's more than just irritating. Have you ever owned dogs or cats? And probably other pets too. I've had a lot of dogs and cats, and most of them fucking hated fireworks. It's like torture for them. They have no idea what's going on. They just hear the loudest noise ever. We find them hiding under the furniture, freaking out like somebody is about to kill them. They're like shaking, like all crazy nervous for the next couple hours. They're fucked up mentally. They get traumatized by this bullshit. And that's just animals in our house that we have to take care of. Think about all the birds and squirrels and everything else at your local park or whatever that suddenly hear the loudest noise they'll ever hear in their life. Most fireworks are louder than a gunshot, alongside a bunch of like really bright flashes. They have no idea what's going on. It just completely fucks them up. This is like an unnatural thing invading their world. And we know it fucks them up. It's been researched for a while. There are many animals that have much more sensitive hearing than humans do, and fireworks can damage their hearing if they're too close. That includes your pet dogs, by the way. I think birds are some of the most common victims and some of the worst impacted overall. It can trigger a panic so strong that their heart rate accelerates until they die, and they just drop out of the sky. They abandon their nests, they fly into buildings. It messes with their reproductive function, so like chickens, for example, might stop laying eggs. But even in ground animals that aren't totally deafened by the explosions, fireworks generally trigger fear, stress, and disorientation. Small critters like squirrels, rabbits, and mice, things that need to be constantly aware and careful about their movement, will just go crazy, freak out, and end up running into danger. Panicking deer and other large mammals can freak out and run into traffic on roads that they would otherwise normally avoid. Cows, horses, or other large farm animals freak out, they get confused, they think they're in danger, they panic, they trample through barriers, they do anything they can to try and escape some kind of unknown danger, and until they calm down again, they're a greater threat to humans during this time. The same applies to pet dogs, which are more likely to bite or otherwise attack humans while they're freaking out because of the fireworks. But we just endure all of this bullshit because it's bright and pretty and we're dumb. Fuck. Hey look, I love the spirit of Canada Day and Victoria Day, and I guess New Year's celebrations aren't terrible. That's the only other holiday I can think of that does fireworks. I just hate the fireworks part. If I were Queen Victoria, it would annoy me after my death that my birthday had become an excuse to just do a bunch of dumb explosions and terrorize your local animal populations. Okay, that's all.